a game. What a roller coaster of a game. I don't know how you're feeling right now, but are you on cloud nine? Are you feeling anything?
Well, first of all, I think that's the most loudest cheer I've ever heard from New York for us since we've been in Boston.
Exactly. Yeah, well, thank you. You deserve it, John. You deserve it.
You just got to believe.
That's it.
That's it. Just got to believe.
You just got to believe. Because, I mean, you know that you weren't going to win. I mean, there was one point. It was a blowout. I mean, it was 28-3 at one point.
Welcome to NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas, and to Super Bowl 51 between the New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons. Brady steps up, in inside.
There wasn't a panic, we were all focused on, okay, this is what we need to do.
And Atlanta has grabbed the lead in Super Bowl 51.
Let's focus on the task at hand, and that's the next play, and the one after that.
Brady gets the snap from Andrews. Intercepted!
Did you play any worse right now? Now you got problems.
Coach Belichick talks through a lot of things throughout the week and prepares our guys mentally for any situation. It just so happens that week we talked through this specific situation.
Matt Ryan has thrown his second touchdown pass of the night, and the Falcons now lead 28-3.
At that point, you know what you have to do. Is whether you can do it or not is a whole nother story.
I felt like we had control of the game. I didn't feel like we had control of the score.
Really? Your team was on the wrong side of a 28-3 blowout in the Super Bowl, and you felt like you had control of the game. Well, I guess he was right, because we all know what happened next.
They have completed the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history.
The culture that's here is very special, and we're privileged to have Bill Belichick as our head coach. But he's done it with a great team of people.
I'd like to propose a toast to all of you. It's an awesome staff, an awesome family. Appreciate the support from everybody. To Super Bowl 51 champions, congratulations.
We gather once again to honor one of the greatest teams in franchise history. Enjoy the celebration. You earned tonight's reward. For the rest of your life, you will be known as a Super Bowl champion.
As usual, Mr. Kraft said it best. The Super Bowl 51 championship was earned. I'm not talking about the incredible plays we all saw in the second half of the game. I'm talking about the countless hours of film study, preaching technique, and of course, the hills. Without those inclined strips of sod, Super Sunday may have had a different ending. The Patriots' dedication to detail made the comeback possible. It's also how they beat the Texans and the Steelers on the road to Super Bowl 51.
Chad O'Shea does a tremendous job of preparing the Red Area Report. He researches it. He's been responsible for that portion of our game plan and our preparation for years.
All right, so now we're going to start looking at the sub and
inside the tent.
Inside, yeah.
All right.
When we look at game planning, one of the things that we're very particular about is matchups. We spend a lot of time researching, a lot of time discussing, and obviously we formulate our game plan based on those matchups. It's very important to us.
But if you did it where Marty here and Langle was up top, like they're doing,
yeah.
Like honestly, like the only guy that could get it would be 55, right?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, honestly, the guy that should have a shot to be really impactful would be Dion, right? If we put him in there in base.
And in that particular case, we felt like Dion would be a tremendous matchup versus the linebacker for the Texans.
The question was whether we could get it, to play out that way.
Ball's on the right hash, and Hogan will split to the left. With Lewis out of the backfield, takes the pass from Brady on the swing at the 15. Sprints outside of the 10, to the 5. End zone bound. Touchdown, Patriots!
That's a matchup that you have to look for here tonight. Running backs from New England against linebackers of the Houston Texans.
We had an opportunity to to match him up there, and he ended up turning the corner, and that was the space we were looking for, and then he capitalized on it.
Here comes Lewis out. Here's McKinney. He's just going to try to see if he can get out there to make that tackle in space. And Tom Brady right away realizes what he has, and Dion Lewis, he can just catch it and outrun most linebackers in the NFL.
Especially in that particular zone where you can clear it out for him. Just like basketball one-on-one, we play a little basketball one-on-one. That's all we did. Play a little basketball one-on-one. Nice job with that number 4. It's all random, huh?
We're trying to get him slow down a little bit. 55.
Those are the rewarding things of coaching, when you can put your players in a position to be successful based off of your research and you being thorough as a game planner.
The Patriots found the mismatch they were looking for against the Texans. In the AFC Championship game, they flashed back to the early days of the Patriots dynasty and hit the Steelers with an oh-so-familiar pattern.
Brady pulls away, give him to Dion Lewis. He tosses it back to Brady on a flea flicker. He had Mitchell open. He throws instead for Hogan to the right. Touchdown, Patriots!
Coach Belichick always wants us to practice these gadget plays throughout the season, because our philosophy is you never know when you're going to have to utilize to win games. And in that particular case, that's a play that was worked on for several times before it was actually running the game. And here's a great example of us running the play in practice, and the result was not exactly the same as what it was in the game, but we had exposure to the fact that Chris Hogan had an opportunity to be wide open on the play, which he was right here at practice. So we came back in, watched the film. Tom saw that he had a great opportunity to throw the ball to Chris Hogan, and obviously that was a play that was a big part of us winning that game.
This is a flea flicker they've been running for many, many years up here in New England. Little different formation this time.
We didn't run flea flicker, but we ran the same concept as the flea flicker in the 2004 championship game against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, where Deion Branch ran the post and I think it was Givens ran the over. And so it was a high-low combination on the safety. It was actually in Palomalu.
Ready, play action fake. Shoots it long and deep. Deion Branch, he's got it. Touchdown!
And so that type of play is conceptually a good play against the Pittsburgh style of defense, even though times passed and new coordinators and new head coach and so forth, but kind of that high-low concept on the free safety.
It goes very unnoticed with Julian Edelman on that play, but he was as critical a part of that play as Tom was throwing it, as Chris was catching it. We had asked Julian, his main responsibility on this prior to releasing for a pass is that he had to take care of the strong safety, at least to bump him in protections, to ensure that the pass would be able to get off without being hit.
The flea flicker, they get him every time.
The key guy on that really was Edelman, which of course doesn't show up in the stat sheet on that play, like a lot of times that happens, but that was a big play.
Picture day.
Amidst all the Super Bowl fanfare, Bill Belichick reminded his players of the hard work it took to get there. This didn't happen overnight. It took 111 grueling practices.
111 practices.
It's very meaningful to them because they know what it takes just to get through one day here. These guys put a ton into every practice, every period, every meeting that we have. You don't want your season to end in the 80s, certainly. If you're in the 80s, you're a good month behind where those last two teams are.
Just trying to highlight to the team of how hard we've worked, how far we've come. Here we are on the doorstep of a great opportunity, and we put in a lot. We want to leave a lot out there.
No one in the Patriots organization has ever questioned Ernie Adams' commitment to winning.
We practice kickoff and kick return. And it's the last play, and the ball goes deep. And when Ernie backed up to get out of the way of the ball that was coming, he ended up tripping and hitting his head, and Ernie's just out.
We've all been knocked down out there one way or another, but that was unexpected and, kind of a little bit scary there.
I did a few stitches, and, that was it.
Later in practice, I look over, And Ernie's walking out with his head wrapped up like a fortune teller. And he's got his hat on top, and he's just marching. And like the whole team's like, that's it. Like Ernie's out here to do his job. We're rolling. Let's go. It's work time.
You're not keeping Ernie out of a Super Bowl, I'll tell you that.
Toughness is a trait Bill Belichick reveres. He also values versatility. No Patriots staff member wears more hats than Nick Caserio.
I don't think there's another general manager in the league that would do anything that would even approach what he does comprehensively, in addition to all the personnel duties. He's there for game plan meetings, preparation, practice, game day.
Nick spends a lot of time digesting our information, offensively, defensively, the game plan, the opponent.
Nick's background has been in coaching as well as scouting, so he has a very good understanding of our offensive system, how we try to utilize our personnel. On game days, he identifies the personnel, substitution, and coverage.
All right, 2nd and 9, or 2nd and 8, right hash. Same look, for Tampa.
I'm looking at what the other team is doing and trying to give Josh the information so that he can make a quick decision about what he wants to call, what personnel he wants to put in the game. Maybe the game plan is shifted, so we have to come up with another idea or concept. You have to be able to react and then be able to disseminate that information quickly so that he can make a good decision.
That play's been a good play for us. You can always hate it too to give him a different look. Yeah.
It's a great thing to have somebody like that in the booth that you trust and that knows what you want from them in terms of the communication.
Nick does a tremendous job for us, works hard, has got a great capacity, and has a very unique skill set.
It's very impressive.
Yeah, very valuable for us.
Equally as valuable, the game day insights of Ernie Adams. Adams helps Belichick decide when to challenge a play.
What do we think here, Ernie? You think it's a bubble? Yeah, it hit Zbikowski on the left shoulder. We got to look at it.
And when to attempt a critical two-point conversion.
Hey, Bill. Yeah, we score in this drive, we're going to want to go for 2. Okay. Yep.
What Adams does best is keep a keen eye on his opponent. He's looking for a tell, hoping they'll give away their hand.
You can watch film, but there's nothing there when they're warming up right at midfield. There's nothing like being able to go stand right behind them. If you keep your eyes open, every now and then you see something that might be worthwhile. How a quarterback is dealing with, particularly playing here in Gillette Stadium, is the wind bothering them?
During Super Bowl pregame warm-ups, Adams analyzed the movements of Falcons receiver Julio Jones. In film study, the Patriots noticed that the All-Pros routes had been limited since a late-season foot injury.
We noticed that Julio, from a defensive standpoint, most of his routes went from our right to left. And so he would plant on his left foot and explode on in cuts from the right side of the ball. But he didn't run too many routes going to the right. And when he did, he kind of rolled them and didn't have the same explosiveness coming out of those cuts. So we felt that he might be favoring the foot or the ankle a little bit. So we tried to overplay the routes going to our left.
Even with the defense lying in wait, Jones still made plays cutting on his good foot. In fact, he was pretty darn effective cutting on his bad foot as well.
December 4th would have been the last time that he caught an out-breaking route going to his left, our right. The very next play, he runs an out route to his left, our right.
With his speed, you're threatened that he's going deep, and you've got to open it up yourself over to the sideline. You just can't stop it.
Foot looked fine. Absolutely, there was no problem with it, so we had to make an adjustment there.
Jones' ailing foot did not limit his effectiveness. It was the Patriots' offense that was slow to break out.
Coach Belichick, prior to the game, looked right at Tom Brady and goes, "Tom, we've been to 6 Super Bowls together and we've never scored a point in the first quarter. Can we get that done?" I look around and I go, "Man, we're going to score 30 points in the first quarter."
And we were planning on playing from ahead. It just didn't work out that way.
Brady with a handoff to Blunt, runs it left, cuts it upfield with a stutter step at the 40. Ball's loose, and the Falcons got it.
Brady gets the snap from Andrews.
Intercepted!
You know there's nobody catching them, and you feel utterly helpless. And then Bill, very calmly on the headset, says, trouble now. And it's like, yep, trouble now, and it was kind of a way of saying, all right, we've put ourselves in a hole here. This is not going to be easy, but there was no extreme panic.
From a Patriots perspective, the first half of Super Bowl 51 was, well, it wasn't good. Now they faced an uphill battle, an 18-point deficit. Fortunately, they'd been conquering hills all year.
All the way through, all the way through.
They understand the meaning behind it. It's meant to push the team in difficult situations and make it hard for them so that when we're in a similar situation in the game, you're building your stamina, you're building your conditioning, you're building your mental toughness and your physical toughness.
Put it in the bag here, put it in the bag so we got him when we need it. All the way through, top of the hill, right through to the top.
I think it was a huge factor in our ability to play longer and harder when it counted the most.
We wrote it on the board at halftime, 47 plays we had actually been on the field for. And I think it was our high for the year. And so we're down 21-3. We're not, it's not a great position to be in. But we do have an opportunity, if we'll capitalize on making this competitive, that our conditioning will actually factor in a huge way at the end of the game because of the number of times that they had already pass rushed. Eventually, at some point, there's got to be some fatigue that sets in.
Do you believe we're going to win? I do too. Let's just play our best half. I don't want anybody to do anything that you can't do. Don't try to make it all up in one play. Just play each play by itself.
We were confident that we could, still make the plays that we need to make to win.
Climbing back from 18 points down was going to be a challenge. Overcoming a 25-point deficit, that was going to require perfection.
Matt Ryan has thrown his second touchdown pass of the night, and the Falcons now lead 28-3.
I remember Devin McCourty, right after they scored, he says, look, there's no room for error now. And he was absolutely right.
With 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, there was a 99.6% chance none of us would be here tonight.
If you don't remember thinking the game was over at this point, you are lying to yourself. While the city of Atlanta was planning parade routes, the Patriots were just trying to find their way to the end zone.
The conversation led us to, look, we're not going to score 25 points in one possession. The goal was, let's score once. Can we let's get a touchdown and try to score one time.
The bottom line was this. It's basically one cover, okay? And then they mix in a little bit of 5.
They did a good job of defending the middle of the field. In the man-to-man, they usually left a free player in the middle.
Shotgun snap to Brady. Stands in. Looks over the middle. Throws for Edelman, and he takes a hard hit. Devondre Campbell lays him out.
Tough going inside right there. Every throw is contested or dropped or batted away.
Certainly in the second half, and I'd say particularly in the fourth quarter, when Tom, went to the perimeter, we moved the ball much more effectively on comeback routes on the sideline, away from that free player inside. There was a lot of space out there, and we gained a lot of yardage.
Firing right to the sideline, sliding grab. Good job by Malcolm Mitchell coming back to the ball, the 28-yard line of New England.
In-game adjustments by the Patriots coaching staff helped get the offense on track. Their Super Bowl preparation led to running back James White being the game's unlikely hero.
It just seems like those three guys are going to take the Y and the F. And there's almost nobody for the halfback. That's right. They're not a big blitz team. So when they're not a big blitz team, then most of the time you're going to get the halfback into the pattern. If they played it the way we thought that they would play it, we would have some opportunities to get the ball to the halfback and make some catch and run plays. And James was the beneficiary of some of those. And Tom has enough faith and confidence in him to give him the ball in those situations, and he came up huge.
Catch made by White. Trent to the inside. Dives across the goal line. Touchdown, Patriots. Falcons 28, Patriots 9.
Good drive. Good drive.
And maybe, just maybe, there's the one you need by James White.
still looking uphill with time of the essence.
It's 28-12 at this point. I'm telling our guys, we really need a play. We're running out of time. We really need a play.
We gotta get the ball out. No more mistakes, no more bads. There's none of that no more. Everything gotta be perfect.
The Falcons lead 28-12, 8:48 to go. Ryan waits on the snap. A blitzer coming. Hightower gets to the quarterback. Ball is loose. Patriots sacking Ryan and recovering at the 25.
We got a ball game now. What a play by Hightower.
The offensive reaction to that play told me that, okay, now we know we can do it.
The pivotal play in Super Bowl 51 was yet another case of the Patriots exploiting an on-field matchup. When running back Tevin Coleman left the game, New England attacked the Falcons' weakness.
So on the play before that, Coleman got hurt. The trainers came out and we saw him going off the field, and then, we knew that Freeman would be in there, and let's say blitz pickup was an area that we noticed that he had some trouble with.
Freeman being a smaller guy. The big weakness is you can expose him, whether it's speed to power coming from the second level or bull rush. This guy has major issues with that.
Freeman in the backfield. Coleman is out with the injury.
So once we saw that, and I was like, all right, we're gonna pressure here. I literally clicked on to high. I said, hey, this is scoop and score. You got this.
Hightower lined a little bit wider, and that was the difference between Freeman thinking he was coming or not coming.
And you can just see High widened himself out a little bit, got himself in a good alignment. And you can see the running back right now trying to figure out, okay, where's my protection? Is it inside? Where's the linebackers? But he's all the way out here. I think when the ball was snapped, High just had such a great angle. By the time the back got his eyes outside and realized, oh, there he is, High's gone.
I think if Freeman would have got a little piece of him, maybe the ball doesn't come out. So, that was a great play by him, great adjustment by him.
The tackle stand or no? The back had me. He didn't see me because I was outside. Yeah. So he looked and went.
We're probably just a fraction of a second away from being a bad play. They had some separation, but our rush got there just in time.
We spend a lot of time on fundamentals here, and I think as you look at teams throughout the season, one of the things that breaks down is their fundamentals. Pad level, tackling, focus on the ball. Number one stat, help us win games. All right, it's a mentality. You got to attack the ball, attack the ball, attack the ball. This is all about trying to get to the quarterback, coming with that tomahawk, that chop move, which we do, and then the next guy recovers the fumble. And if you can really maintain that stuff all the way through the year and you're playing at your highest level, that's what you're going to revert to in the end.
And now here we go. Tom Brady has a chance right now to put his team back on the board with great field position.
We're still in a go-for-two mode. If we score again, when do we score again?
We're down 16 points, and we can't realistically think we're going to have more than two possessions. That dictates you're going to go for two.
Of course, Bill Belichick would urge his staff to have extra 2-point plays handy 2 weeks before the Super Bowl.
After we had won the AFC Championship game versus Pittsburgh, Coach Belichick came in our offensive staff room as we were beginning the initial game planning for the Super Bowl. And he strongly recommended that we have several other 2-point plays in addition to what we usually carry on the call sheet.
We normally have 2 2-point conversion plays on the call sheet. Bill brought up the concept earlier in the preparation about maybe carrying an extra 1 or 2 just to see if it could create an advantage for our team.
We spent a lot of time. We were very thorough on working on those 2-point plays because our previous year ended with an unsuccessful 2-point play.
2-point conversion for the tie. Snap to Brady. All out pressure. Brady rolling to his right. Brady throws. Pass deflected. And intercepted. Denver's going to win this.
I thought it was unbelievable vision by Bill to think forward and to know what kind of game this was going to be.
I anticipated there would be some points scored in this game. I didn't think this was going to be a 10-9 type of game. And we talked about going for 2 points, the first time we scored, or, to try to go up 8-0 instead of 7-0 and put the pressure on. Well, of course, we didn't score until the second half, so that really wasn't an option that we had.
Danny Amendola scored a touchdown on another one of those routes toward the perimeter of the field. And wouldn't you know, the Patriots had multiple two-point plays to pick from.
Touchdown, Patriots! Pats will go for 2, 5:56 to go here in the fourth.
Just a big two-point conversion here to really apply the pressure on the Falcons.
This two-point conversion had to work. So Josh McDaniels called a play that's always served New England well.
Direct snap to James White, runs up the middle, he's in for 2! It's a one-score game.
The outcome wasn't a surprise. The Patriots already used this play in an amazingly similar situation.
Kevin ran that in the same stadium in Super Bowl 38 against Carolina. I think it was the only time he scored that entire season.
Tom Brady in a shotgun. It goes a direct snap to Kevin Crawford. He runs it in!
It's a play where the center has to snap the ball a little bit to the running back side of the quarterback so the back can get it on the run, and you hope that there's enough distraction. It just hits quick enough that he can get in there.
The sack, a fumble, a touchdown plus 2. 5:56 to go, fourth quarter. Falcons 28, Patriots 20.
Now we got a ball game, folks.
Them last 5 minutes of the game is where the Super Bowl is made, man.
The Patriots had scored 17 unanswered points. The momentum was firmly in their grasp. Then Julio Jones snatched it right back.
Matt up in the pocket. Now going to cut it loose. Julio, what a catch! That will live in Super Bowl history right there.
I see him catch it and I see his feet, and I knew right away. This guy just caught this thing. I'm like, here we go again.
We did sort of have a flashback to Tyree.
And what a catch by Tyree with 58 seconds to go.
It always seems to be in the end of the game, in the fourth quarter, with less than 5 or 6 minutes to go in the game, there's this miraculous play that happens.
Hurts on his back. He makes the catch. Are you kidding me?
Unlike the Curse catch or the Tyree catch, the Jones catch was pure, unadulterated skill.
I don't know how we could have defended it any better. Eric Rowe undercut the route. They had a great play on the ball. It just was a couple inches over him. It was good defense.
I have no idea how Matt Ryan gets this ball in there and how Julio Jones is able to make that catch.
Jones' catch put the Falcons in field goal range. The lead was 8 points. If the Falcons scored, the game was likely over.
Whether we give up a play or we get a tackle for loss, we still got to play the next down. So just keep playing, keep grinding.
Let's go, fellas! Let's go, fellas! 100%, let's go!
So we call run defense, figuring they're going to run the ball, which they did. And Dev, he made a great tackle out in space.
Toss-up goes to Freeman to the left, trying to get outside. McCourty reads it well, and he makes the play.
They're just trying to run the clock now and kick it.
The Falcons had 2 more plays to gain yards and improve their field goal position. It was up to Matt Patricia's defense to hold them.
It was a lot of, okay, they're going to run it again because they're just going to run it and kick it. And I just did not feel like they were going to run it again.
As much as the running game was good early in the game, overall in the second half was kind of sporadic. They had some negative plays.
When you're looking at the situation, here's the quarterback of the year, one of the greatest wide receivers in the league. They're going to throw the ball. I made a pass call. It was a pressure call.
2nd and 11. Ryan looks to throw. He's pressured. He's wrapped up. He's thrown backward.
Can't take a sack. That's a costly sack by Matt Ryan.
Patriots call timeout with 3:50 to go.
The other thing that happened on that rush, on that particular play, really affected the rest of the series too. There's Hightower's coming off the right edge, and Hooper just tackles him to the ground. There's no flag, but you can see High get up, and he's talking to the refs.
Hey, Will. Hey, watch that run for me, Will. They hold it.
I'm like, if they do that again, they're going to call it.
The non-call on the previous play reminded Patricia of a game-changing penalty earlier in the playoffs.
A couple weeks earlier in the playoffs, the same crew, same guy, called a penalty on the left tackle on a 2-point play that would have changed the game or gone to overtime, and it ended the game.
Holding. Number 72 offense. 10-yard penalty.
Watch what Eric Fisher does. He gets him hooked around the shoulder pad, and those 2 points come off the board.
On the biggest third down call of the year, Patricia not only considered the track record of Carl Cheffer's crew, but also the scouting report.
Left for Atlanta and 2 timeouts left for New England.
Looking at left tackle Jake Matthews, he's probably not as athletic as Eric Fisher in Kansas City, but he's in that athletic family. But he's just light on the edge. Guy's powering through his outside shoulder to get into the quarterback.
So at that point, do you keep going after the quarterback? Do you keep trying to pressure him? If he gets it out, it's over. They tackled one of our guys that played before. Let's go get it.
You're looking at a 53-yard drive where the ball is now for Bryant.
Matt Ryan's got to be smart here. Can't afford another sack. Try to pick up some yards. 3 points is big right now in this ball game.
After analyzing the situation, the players, and even the officiating crew, Patricia went all in. He unleashed pass rusher Chris Long on Jake Matthews and Matt Ryan.
Sanu the catch at the 30. Stiff arm and take it out of bounds. Field goal.
And there's a penalty marker in the backfield.
Holding. Number 70 offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay third down.
It ended up being the hold similar to the play that happened in the Kansas City playoff game with Pittsburgh. Huge play in that game.
And with the sack and the hold, the Falcons are not in position to add to an 8-point lead. Now they're giving the ball back, putting Tom Brady in position to tie this game up.
Patriots have 2 timeouts. Brady is by himself in the shotgun. 5 wide, 4 in the defensive line for Atlanta.
Shotgun snap to Brady. Stands in, throws down the middle for Edelman. Ball's tipped, and Julian diving for it.
I caught it!
Edelman has it. Did he make the catch? He did!
You gotta be kidding me!
When he got up and was very confident in the way he got up, I knew he had that football.
I caught it! Crazy, I swear to God!
No way, look at that!
Watch!
On the ground!
No! Alford knocked it up into the air, and let's see who comes down with it. Oh, that's a catch! Oh my God, that's incredible!
That's definitely got to be the greatest catch in Super Bowl history.
That was skill. I don't think there was luck involved with that catch. You see him, he is focused. It's pretty special.
How much was hand-eye coordination? How much was luck? I would say it was probably like 70% luck.
It was just amazing. And I think 3 plays, that catch and Hightower's strip sack and Trey Flowers' sack. Those were 3 plays in that 8 or 9 minutes that just were unbelievable.
After Julian Edelman's catch, finishing the drive was a foregone conclusion for the Patriots. Not because the cosmic scales had finally tipped in their favor, but because of the work they put in on the hill.
And you look at how that game played out, especially in the fourth quarter with the high volume of plays that we played offensively, you could obviously see that the conditioning was very favorable towards us.
I felt like that was a big factor. You put your work in the bank, and when it comes up in a competitive situation, it'll be there when you need it. So
it was, right?
It was.
Brady surveys the defense. Tom takes the snap. He backs up, hands it to White. Up the middle! Touchdown, Patriots! They've drawn within 2. It's Super Bowl 51.
With a chance to tie, it was time to order off the 2-point menu for the second time in the game.
When you have a 2-point play come up, it's obviously going to be in a critical part of the game. We always have talked about having our best players touch the balls on those certain plays.
We chose Danny because we feel like Danny's the best trash runner and catcher that we got, meaning you're going to have to catch it with a lot of bodies close to you. You're going to have to turn your head and shoulders towards the goal line real quick and just dive through a brick wall if you have to. It wasn't going to be easy, but that was why we chose Danny to do it.
And now the biggest 2-point attempt in the history of the Patriots franchise.
on, TB12! You got it!
57 seconds to go, and 2 for the tie. Tom takes a step. Quick throw to Amendola, screen left. Reaches across the goal line. It's a tie game in Super Bowl 51.
I cannot believe what I'm witnessing.
And one's down by 25. The Patriots are even with Atlanta.
Nice job, Dola!
And we go to overtime here in Houston. First time in Super Bowl history.
Gentlemen, we're about to begin an overtime period that will continue until a winner is determined. New England gets to call the toss.
Heads.
They have called heads. It is heads. New England has won the toss.
When we won the coin toss, I looked at my dad and said, game over.
I mean, this second half, when you look at what the Patriots have done offensively, they've scored the last 4 times they've had the ball.
I think everybody had incredible confidence on our sideline that, like, we're going to be able to go down and put the ball in. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
You had to feel it on the sideline. You had to feel their mindset, if you understand what I'm saying. There was no doubt in their mind. No doubt in their mind, not one of them, what we're about to do.
Let's go score and win this thing, baby.
You weren't going to overcome that deficit in that amount of time, win the coin toss, and not score.
The Patriots had overcome a 25-point deficit, the largest in Super Bowl history. With a touchdown from the 2-yard line, the Patriots would win Super Bowl 51. It was the perfect time for Josh McDaniels to call the third and final 2-point play on his call sheet.
So here it was, second down and goal at the 2. And Bill just said, what do you want? What are you thinking here? I said, I think just go with the third 2-point play.
It was unbelievable vision by Bill. We actually were successful on 2 2-point plays, and then the final play of the game was actually off of our 2-point call sheet. That was the additional play that he asked us to have in the game.
We felt like it would give us a shot. Deion had actually practiced it during the week, and because of the injury he had sustained during the course of the fourth quarter there at the end, he wasn't available at that point, and so we just left James in. Had a lot of confidence that James would do it, but he didn't run it in practice.
James White was set behind Brady. Two yards from a 5th Super Bowl championship. Toss sweep right for James White. Tucks it under the right arm. Cuts it upfield. Driving forward. Diving to the goal line. A touchdown and a title for the Patriots.
The hands go up in the air. The confetti starts blowing. And people ran onto the field, and I'm still standing there. I got my belt pack on, my headset's on, and I'm going, there's no way they're not going to review this, right? Like, they got to review it.
When the knee goes down, where's the ball? I don't know what they'd do if they had to overturn this, but it looked to me like the ball was across.
The officials on our sideline just stayed out there, of course. Usually when the game's over, they get off.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown. That ruling is under review.
They were waiting to hear, just like, I was waiting to hear, and of course there was a lot of celebrating going on. But I would say, to our players' credit, many of them were still, ready to play again if we had to run another play, because they knew what the situation was. They were alert to it.
Hello, they got to review it. Was it in? Get out of the way. Get off the field. Oh. Was he in?
Shortly thereafter, I believe it was Bill, confirmed they reviewed it. It's good. It's over.
Hey! Is it over? Yes. They had to review it. They reviewed it. Did they? Yeah. Oh!
Yeah, it was great to let everybody know officially that we won.
Oh, man, that's some football. Yes, it is, Coach. Way to go, buddy. I'm so proud of you.
And that's it. That's how the Patriots completed the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. They did it with forethought, incredible attention to detail, and with every player and coach doing their job.
It's going to be one hell of a story.
They counted us out 20 times.
Gotta believe, Coach.
Love it. Oh, hell yeah.
2 years ago, we won our 4th Super Bowl. A lot has transpired during the last 2 years. This is unequivocally the
Sweetest one of them all. And if you think that was sweet, wait until you see what we've prepared next. Super Bowl champions, open your rings now.
You know, it's great to be here tonight. Robert, family, Kraft family, thank you so much for making this possible, for giving us the support and everything that we need. And, you know, congratulations to all of us tonight, fellas.
I want to point out, Bill, what you've done. This group, this family, it's really special. And I am so happy to be a part of it. All of us, we love each other and we work hard for each other.
I don't really think it's about what I've done. I think it's, in this case, about what this team did. And collectively, as I said, this team accomplished a lot. This team was it was a special team. 2016 team was a special team.
It's a great feeling. I recognize how special it is. I'm not sure, it really settled in yet for me, because it's still going on. One day when, 20 years from now when Tom stops playing, and 20 years from now when Bill stops coaching, we'll be able to say, that was a great run by those two.
You don't have too much time to reflect back on what you've accomplished. You understand it's not common. The focus just remains on what you have to do to keep it going.
Look what we just did. We got that. We got it, and we went and got it. We were going to do it.
It's very difficult to stop and look backwards and say, hey, let me just take a deep breath and then look historically at what this is or what it isn't, when you have a new narrative to try to create and a new story to write. And this team's working on that now, and our staff is putting in the same amount of hours we put in last year for last year's team.
Yeah, there'll be a time to reflect back and count them up, but we're still chasing it now. 2017. It's a new season. Still chasing it.